Hey everyone, welcome to the Family Business Podcast. My name is Dominique Sampson.
And my name is Malobi Sampson II.
And on this podcast, we're going to talk about everything from relationships, careers, God, therapy. Listen, we are talking about it all.
So sit back, relax, and let us take you on the adventure of a lifetime.
That boy said an adventure of a lifetime.
Shout out to Lydia for pointing that out. Lydia, we love you. You did point out that I said an adventure of a lifetime. We've had other friends say, what are you doing to my mic?
I don't know.
But we've had other friends say, why am I trying to serenade? We've had all kinds of things said. This is my natural voice. I naturally talk this low. If I got this close to your ear.
Adventure of a lifetime, though.
This is what a lifetime. Okay.
You only taking me on adventures of a lifetime.
No, yeah, I definitely am. They're just listening in. So they get to listen.
They ain't listening.
I should have said they'll listen.
Of a lifetime.
What? Wow. I'm up with warning. Children shouldn't listen to this episode because it's going down. Here we are.
I had so many jokes for that. I was like, so are you.
Wow. Let's get into today's topic.
All right. Let me focus.
Clean it up.
Do we need to have a button like that?
We don't yet. Not yet.
Like a grandma button.
Yeah, but I think as we're working through the initial stages of the podcast, you're funny. We can work on the sounds that we think will be appropriate. What we say a lot that deems and merits its own button. But you wanted to talk about today something. Would you like to introduce it? I did a little sneak peek to it a little earlier.
Wait, the red mean record?
The numbers going up means that we are live.
It's too late for me. Okay.
These are the times we got to do it because we got to sneak away.
Yeah,
while
literally.
our son has a pause moment.
Literally.
And we got
homeboy is all over the place.
We got to whisper sweet nothings in your ear so that our son doesn't wake up. This is your captain speaking.
Okay, all right. So, this episode we're talking about clean space, clean mind.
Mm-hmm. Who's the episode brought to us by? I'm just kidding. We don't have sponsors yet.
By that one girl that be on YouTube cleaning everything.
Everything. What's her name? I
don't know.
Okay.
I actually am subscribed to a person who does that.
The one who cleans up messy spots? The one that you just recently learned about?
She's tripping.
Oh.
They tripping.
You don't receive that?
I don't receive that.
You don't want a double portion of that?
No, and I'm mad she keep finding places to clean. Like, why are people so nasty?
There is no limit on filthy places.
I guess not.
We're in a sinful world.
Not that cleanliness is next to godliness.
It is now. Come on now. I'm just like, that's in the book of Second Opinions,
exactly.
chapter 12, verse 32.
That is not scripture. That is not scripture. No matter how much we want it to be scripture, it is not scripture that cleanliness is next to godliness.
That's very true. Because it's the filthiest of us that get the closest to God.
But that's a real thought.
Maybe this is brought to us by Orbit. You know those Orbit commercials where they show
where you chew the gum and it's like clean.
Can I pay you in gum?
No, but the woman who it's that I really look at and really like her channel on YouTube, she's called Clean Freak and Germaphobe. It's two people. It's a person who considers himself the clean freak and then a person who considers himself the germaphobe. So they collaborate and make content together.
Somehow those sound like the same thing.
No, I think the clean freak is obsessed with cleaning things in general, like making sure that everything's tidy and organized.
And the germaphobe is afraid of germs.
Yeah, they're talking more about sanitizing things and making things.
You know, they probably address in their first episode the difference between the two.
They probably do, but I've been watching them. I'm actually subscribed to them because it's so satisfying watching them organize and clean stuff.
Is it like visual ASMR?
Well, like just look at that for a second. She's like making things. She's like making butter. Like butter things.
It's like watching paint dry.
She said epic butter hacks. So she's like taking a cookie sheet thing, she's folding it in half, and she's slicing her butter with it. So she's making like little compartments of butter that make it easier.
So it's clean and clever. It's clean and
right, but I think that's where the clean freak comes in, because she's more organizing. Like she loves to organize things. Check them out on YouTube if you haven't, but they're the Clean Freak and Germaphobe channel.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, and so they have all types of things that can help you organize your life, right? And they clean toilets, they clean all types of stuff, clean keyboards, just all types of stuff. But the reason why I think about that, I didn't realize, first of all, I didn't realize how much a clean space contribute. You hear about feng shui and people organizing things so that they can have creativity and thoughts and things like that. Great thoughts. But I didn't realize how much cleanliness was impacting my stress.
Talk about it.
So,
is this still a fresh wound?
No, it's not a fresh wound, because I had the revelation today of like, dang, this really impacts me. Yeah. And I'm like, for the last couple of days, I have been on cloud 9. I've been floating through the air. I've been flying up to the clouds, dapping them up, coming back down, and having a really great moment. I've been baking. I've been cooking. I don't think I'm pregnant, but, on the other side of that, like, I'm really, like, I was just really enjoying life and having, like, just chill, feeling free to lay in the bed if I wanted to sleep, to rest, like, whatever. As I'm saying it more, these all sound like pregnancy symptoms, but they are not, because I'm not pregnant.
I went to cook, I went to clean, let me tell you how I got this ring.
I'm nesting, and it feels great. No, I'm not.
My son is moving out the way for a sibling.
No. Okay, let's focus. So,
Zone.
But no, so I was just thinking about, like, I was asking myself and really asking God, like, why have I been so bubbly? Like, pops. Naturally, that is my personality. When I don't have responsibilities and things going on, which, i.e., that's adulting, but when I don't have so many, like, burdens of certain things happening in my life, I am freed up to be, like, the goofy, funny version of myself, because I'm just more a little bit carefree. I remember back in college, I was just, like, super carefree. I was winging everything. It's probably how I barely passed college. But I was winging everything. So I was more rebellious and free. So I think, as I've been, like, kind of evaluating myself, I'm 33, and I'm like, is this life?
Wait, hold on.
What?
You're 33?
Yes. Stop it. You knew I was 33.
Just for the people in the back, I knew.
All right, calm down. But I was thinking through it, like, is this life? So I was like, why have I been so, like, chipper, and, like, what is going on? Am I just, because there are spiritual moves of God where you're like, ooh, I'm expecting Natasha Cobb's miracle to like be in this room, and for me to put my name on it. So I'm just yelling, like, hey. I did that one time, and that was like, it was breakthrough.
It broke you through.
But I was like, I'm gonna put praise out. I was putting praise on a couple things.
You were just stepping on stuff and praising it.
Whatever
praise
my
on
feet,
that, praise on this, praise on that,
whatever my feet tried on.
Praise on my cereal.
It's mine. It's mine, cousin. It tried it on that money left on the ground. It's mine. So
that's is that what people do when, quick side note, you know how there's money on the floor and you don't know who else can see it, so you got to put your foot down on it and slide it to you? Is that putting a praise on it?
It's probably.
So I got to put away. Looking around.
I don't know why we do that university. We're like, anybody see this? You put your foot on it. Exactly. You act like you're scratching your butt.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm agreeing to everything.
Right,
hold up.
Yeah, scratching my butt.
Booty digging. Like, hold up, wait a minute. No, that's not what I was agreeing to. That ain't even it.
Nah, but I was just thinking about, you're goofy. But I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the mood you were in. And you were
yes. I was like, why?
You were feeling good.
Right. And I was talking to the Lord about this. Like, what is going on? And there's nothing wrong with it. Right. But I've just been talking to him about my mood and my disposition, my attitudes versus like all these things. Just thinking about me and kind of how I can, just be a better version of myself. And I don't think that as a Christian I should be perky and happy all the time. I don't think that's realistic. And I think it paints a picture.
Did you read that scripture? No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Happieth is he who seeketh happiness.
No.
But you know what's interesting? You made that point. I think we talked about this at an earlier podcast where we said blessed, having a double meaning, right? And in some instances, it's this like you will be blessed. You'll receive something, and then blessed also being you will experience. Like happy is the person who does these things. And so I think there is something to, maybe not that you should always be that way, but I think there's something to what you're doing, producing a fruit of happiness. You're working actively towards
right
being blessed,
right,
and what that ties to. So when you see the Beatitudes,
blessed is the man who does these
Psalms,
things and
exactly.
acts accordingly.
And so
yeah, and I think if I'm honest, I don't always do the actions to be blessed. So a lot of times that keeps me in an attitude place.
That would be a podcast button. Little whatever the sound is, that would go right there. 'Cause that's true.
Truly. Yeah. I think, as much as we try, and a lot of times we do ministry stuff, but we're not always doing God stuff. So it's like...
Wait, hold on. You keep trying to go 90 miles past the red light. The red light's there to pause you so you can take a moment to take it in. The
yellow light is to pause.
No. The
red light is to stop you.
And we're passing all this scenic view and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. Whoa, wait, what did you say? You just said sometimes we're doing ministry stuff, but not the God stuff. Can you break that down for the people in the back?
I think it's pretty cliche at this point, but if I could break it down,
come on,
a little bit is that we are, like, I'm doing my ministry, right? I'm like showing up for the kids. I'm like bringing the snacks. I'm serving. I'm helping because unconsciously, unrelationally, I'm doing these things because I probably have to, right? There's some like law with it that I probably should go to church because if I don't show up, then who's going to teach my class? But I think a part of that is like I could be doing that, and some of us get trapped into doing that and thinking that that is the thing that pleases God. And it's not you just showing up that pleases God, because God can get anybody to show up. But it's like out of the contents of my heart and out of the contents of my spirit, am I able to be filled and then fill others? Am I able to bless and be a blessing? Be blessed and be a blessing. And so it's like, what am I bringing to the party? Because it's not enough just to show up to my baby shower. You better bring a gift, because if you don't bring a gift, why are you here? I'm just kidding.
We still love all the people who came to our baby shower.
Come. Thank you for coming to our baby shower.
The reason why I stopped you, and you made the point, I feel like this is already known. However,
I do, because I think that in the Christian community, we talk about it a lot, and we're like, you got to come for more than just that. Like I think we talk a lot about it,
but we don't often break down the thing.
Yeah, sure.
We don't often self-reflect to say, okay, how is that happening in my life currently,
sure.
where I'm doing this thing?
Sure.
And, as an example for me, I came from the church where I was, and they came to school, straight to school. It's my only church experience. It's my only Christian experience. And we were doing a lot more than most people. We had youth church and everyone was involved. We had retreats that all the youth were going on. And what you better believe, people was experiencing God in those moments. And so I felt like we was doing the thing. So much so, I remember, I'm going to bring this up. This isn't to throw people under the bus, but I'm going to say it. I remember we had a fast. And immediately as the fast ended, people was ready to throw on the jams. And I said, did y'all not just have the experience of, weren't you just drawn closer to God with all the fasting he did? How you so quick to go back to Chris Breezy? How you so quick to hit back Tank? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, man, that's so quick. You didn't even give God a chance to, when you come off the fast, you don't go to the buffet. You know what I mean? You take it easy.
Speaking of the buffet, we definitely need to go check out the buffet in the Bronx, because I was thinking about that.
Okay, you're getting distracted.
Okay, let's go to Golden Corral though.
And I promise you, I'm going to bring this back to a clean space. We're going to get back to that domain, that realm.
Cool.
And so I wanted you to talk a little bit more about that, because when I went out to school, I was like, in my mind, I I had the most, and you hear this at church, are you coming into Christian experience? Are you coming for baptism? And Christian experience is like, I've experienced some Christian things.
Right.
And I'm just coming here to extend on those Christian things. You know what I mean?
But sometimes when you're saying that, though, sometimes people are so embarrassed to come up and say, I know nothing about nothing. So I'm like, well, I don't want to start from square zero. Like, I knew some stuff. I know, like somebody said to us the other day, of course she a Christian. She wear a cross necklace.
Yeah, they did.
So I'm like,
they did. And I had to question it.
Right.
I said, so, yeah. So with that, I wanted you to stop and I wanted us to pause for a moment on there to talk about that a little more, because you're right. Sometimes it's like, even people who are church hurt, I think we're more pursuing, I'm doing the ministry thing. After all the stuff I've done and I've been doing, like, you know, and so you can easily get offended if your focus isn't the right thing. For me, I'll speak for myself, and this isn't a church hurt story, but for me and myself, when we came off, I was like, what in the world? Like, how are you guys so quick to jump on this stuff? But I will say, and this is one of the things I saw with you, and I was like, but this girl has like a new believer relationship with God still. And now that you are a babe in Christ, that's not what I'm trying to imply.
I was.
But you were like hungry, so maybe you were lying to me, and I felt like, dang, she's further along than she actually is. But one of the things, what I saw in my eye is like, you are really someone who has this more intimacy with God, and I have this knowledge with God. And a lot of times it is from my perspective and view that many people within the Christian faith have an I know that already attitude, and that hinders the ability to be able to have intimacy with God.
Right.
Because the moment I say I don't know, you're making a point, people are afraid to say they don't know. The moment I say I don't know, then it's like, okay, let me show you.
Right.
I remember when I worked at Apple. Which is
super vulnerable to do,
it is,
by the way.
It is. They taught us at Apple, the richest company in the world at the time that I was working at it. I helped to do that. I'm just kidding. And so while I was there, like, it got to that point. And one of the things they trained us on, and I trained a third of the store that I worked at, and this is what I was told to say. If you don't know something, say you don't know.
Yeah.
And then say, let's find out together. I was like, who's the Christian behind the curtain giving out all the secrets? Because this is what it should look like. I don't know. Let's go find out. Hey, I don't actually know what the word says on that. Let's go look together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my opinion and thinking at the time was formed on things I had heard and not even things that I had read.
I think, you know, you're making great points. And I think part of it for me is like the whole Jesus was approved of by God before he ever did anything.
The Tim Ross sermon. That was a good one.
But literally, he was approved of by God before he ever did anything. And I think a part of my relationship with God was really, it's like, that's like foundation for me. In that, like, there's nothing I will do, can do, or have done that will take me away from God. Like, neither life nor death will separate me from his love. And so I think that when I'm free to know that I can make mistakes, not only do I make probably less mistakes, but I'm also free to try to live a life that is like pleasing to him. And so I think it frees me up a ton. And I think one of the things that keeps me bound is, again, what the devil might say to me or about me or whatever. And so I have to keep coming back to God, saying, God, you know, do you say that? What do you say? How do you say? And teach me what you want. I mean, I think that you're right in having authentic experiences with God, because I think I knew nothing else. I didn't have a formality to come to him on. So I didn't know, like, I was super rough, super uncut gem. Like, literally some of my earliest memories of going to church, like super just uncut, just raw. I remember showing up at shout out to the Kojic church, but I remember showing up at the Kojic church with my club outfit on because that's all I had to wear. Yeah. And I knew I had to wear a dress, right? But I
thank God I didn't find you in that season, right?
Right, thank God. I knew I had to wear a dress, but I wasn't aware of...
Because the Lord said, I'm going to reserve this for later. But for right now, daughter, I need you focused on me.
But when I went into that church, man, they looked at me so tough. And one of the women said, I want to talk to you about what the Lord want me to tell you about what you're wearing, daughter. And I was like, okay. He didn't actually make me feel bad, but you did. So I think there was a whole element there. We could talk about that another time. But I think there was a grace that God was giving me to grow.
And there was even a grace to keep going after that moment.
Oh, absolutely. Because I wasn't there for them. I was there because I wanted to spend time with the Lord. In fellowship with others who could help me get to where I wanted to be. And inadvertently, they did help me get to where I needed to be. I didn't end up going to the Kojic church, but it was an experience. Anyhow, back to the clean house, because it was...
Wait, can I help with the segue of this?
Yeah.
A lot of times when we think about it from a spiritual perspective, and then we'll get to the practical, many people are like, I can't go to church until I get this right. Until I'm right, until I'm doing this right. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to marry her because like I want to get the job, and I want to clean up myself first.
Yeah, then I want to what I messed up.
Not biblical at all, but you know what I mean.
No, it's not.
Definitely an interesting song. And so you have this thinking of like, I need to organize, do this thing, and then after it's all perfect and pristine, then I'll be ready. It's personally held me up with a lot of reasons why I don't jump into things. So jump into you with this cleaning.
Yeah, you did it. I mean, that was really good, because that is not biblical, that we got to clean up something before. I mean, it wasn't that the story of the rich young ruler when he was asking Jesus, what should I do? And he said, go back and sell everything. He's like, oh wait, no, I can't do that, because what you're asking me to do is clean it up. Like you're telling me that you will clean it up for me, and you will take this on for me, and I'm not willing to take that, make that sacrifice. I'm not willing to do those things, because I've worked so hard to build this thing up, and I can't get rid of it.
It says it was a tough thing for him to do.
Easier for a camel to enter into the eye of a needle than for him to enter into heaven.
A camel was getting poked in the eye by a needle. I'm like, dang. See, that's easier? Lord Jesus, that's an example.
And I heard that was like the eye of a needle, like that. The needle was actually
Talk about it. Exegete.
No. Shut up. Like, I actually heard that that the needle was a formation, like a building or a structure that they had to go into to enter into like a town or a city or something, and that literally that was called the eye of the eye of the needle or whatever.
You know why it was so tough? Yeah, explain it, girl.
No, I'm just saying that I'm moving past that point. I'm just saying it was easier for them to enter into that, because they had to bend, like they had to literally.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, talk about that part.
Get down and go and through it. Exactly, crawl through it as a camel, crawling through it. Than it is it's easier for them to do that than it is for a man to enter into heaven, that particular rich person to enter into heaven. Anyways, but just thinking about the cleaning up portion of it. So, was talking to the Lord about, God, why was I so chipper? And he was reminding me, he was showing me essentially that my personality was impacted by the clean space.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, okay. So he's like, when you have a clean area, you're free to be creative and to think through things, and your mood is like better, and all of these things are happening when you have a clean space, opposed to when you have a dirty space, a cluttered space, then it's harder for you to navigate, which I didn't think about it till just now. Remember when during the New Year,
Thank you.
Anyways.
Black people, it's 1 year. You're not jumping 10 years ahead. You only have 1 year. It's New Year, not New Years. Okay, we're not celebrating 3 at one time. This ain't a bundle. Okay.
No, stupid. It's not a bundle special. It's not a bundle. Anyway. Black people, I don't know if all people do this, but I know specifically in the Black culture, we cook certain things on New Year Day or the day before New Year just to prepare and, bring blessings into the new year. I don't know if that's like pagan or whatever, but we do that. We also make sure that we clean up the house that were around or that were in, organize things. And so a part of my tradition had been to organize and clean the space that I was in before the new year, as to, then you leave for church or whatever, but not to have a dirty space on the way into the new year. As the new year, if you had a dirty space, that's how you were essentially going into the new year. Mm-hmm. And so I was sitting in the living room and I was like weeping because I was looking around at the mess, thinking like, this, we have to be at church in like 2 hours. I've been working on this thing all day. We have to be at church in 2 hours. I'm not going to get this done.
And you got a corner done, right?
Yeah, literally. I have a corner done, and I'm not going to get this stuff done at all. And so I'm like weeping because I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave this house and it's going to be a mess. Does that mean my year is going to be a mess? Like, I'm just having all these feelings, these thoughts, these emotions, and being overwhelmed by what I see.
And your husband doesn't have a look of a
care in the world, shawty. He is like, what mess? What mess? But the crazy thing is, you keep asking me like, hey, can you, do you know where this is? Do you know where that is? And I'm like, I don't know where anything is in this mess. Like, I can't even. I
think recently you said something along the lines of, I know as much as you do.
Yes. I'm tired of you asking that stupid question.
And then my rebuttal was, as the husband, it is my job to ask you.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
Have you seen, have you seen, and the way it forms on my tongue is so natural.
It's the dumbest thing. Because you're like, have you seen the toilet paper? Yes, I have seen it. It's next to the toilet. Stop asking me that. These dumb questions. Have you seen the NyQuil? Yes, it's in the medicine cabinet or underneath the area over there where all the other medicine is.
Okay, so you see that? Underneath the other area over there. You have 6 other areas of the other thing. Because we're getting organized. And so I hear what you're saying. But seriously, you do. And then sometimes the way you give instructions, I guess this is a marriage rant. This is interesting. Sometimes the way you give instructions, right? I'm like, if I was blindfolded, the way she instructs me, I would never find this thing. Because the way you talk to me, the way, you know how parents would say, go look for this thing in the room.
Yes.
And then you would go and you couldn't find it to save your life, right? But somehow, when she said these magical words, you could find it. If I go in there and find it, I'm going to tear your behind up, right? And then he was like, all right, hold up. Oh, I found it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I can see. You know what I mean?
You stupid.
Break every chain. Break every chain. Right? So you're like, that's. So sometimes the way you give instructions, I'm like, I think recently too, I said, you said, can you pass me my chips? They're over there. And I was like, I know there are chips over here, but I don't see them. Because I was looking at a whole shelf, and I'm looking all over the shelf, scanning, trying to find it. On the floor, in an oatmeal box, was the chips.
But this is the thing. You look for 2 seconds and say you can't find it. So you're like, where? I can't find it. And I'm like, okay, you have to look first, not just scan the room.
But you give instructions like,
okay, can we get back to it?
No, we gotta squash this. Okay, let's get to the bottom. Sometimes we're modeling how to have conversation. All right, this is awesome. All right. Sometimes I approach things like, you know exactly down to the detail of where it's at. So I would like to know. No, you don't,
because you're always asking me where it's at.
No, I said, you know. Oh. I don't know. You know. So because you clean it up. So sometimes I'm like, do you know where my sweatpants are? In my mind, I imagine you being able to be like, oh yeah, it's probably in the second drawer with all of the other sweatpants. But you tell me, yes, with the clothes. And I'm like, we got 17 drawers. Not drawers, but we have 17 drawers. And in the drawers, literally, it could be anywhere. And then when I'm looking through trying to find it, after I've ruffled through everything and messed up your perfect space, you come to me and you say, I put the socks at the top, the underwear in the second, shirt in the third, pants in the fourth. It's always going to be in the fourth. And I'm like, okay. And it'll just happen.
You know why that is? Because when I put it there, I said, hey, Malobi, I put this in here, and I walk you through it once I'm finished. So when you come back and you ask me about it, I'm saying literally it's exactly where I told you it would be. Stop asking me these questions because you're wasting my time.
One, I probably wasn't listening. But two,
exactly.
the truth comes out.
Exactly.
But then two,
you
this
probably
is the
weren't.
other thing.
Excuse me. Say it for the listeners.
I said it loud enough.
No, you didn't.
I
You
said
never say it loud enough. You got a permanent whisper going on over there.
The first time you say it, I probably almost guaranteed need a second time.
Because don't try to pretty it up because you said.
Because I probably am not listening
exactly
as thoroughly as I should be.
So but you're wasting my voice years?
No.
My breath?
Even though you have to give an account to God for everything you say.
My ruach.
And I just imagine getting a fast forward like, hold on, you said this 4 times because your husband didn't hear you. But sometimes like stuff is said or you're in a cleaning mode and I'm not. So my mind isn't always in the space of like, oh, this is where this is going as a clean thing. Sometimes my mind is out of it. And so I imagine for you, and this could be wrong, when I've seen you clean, you're in a clean mode, right? So much so, I'm not trying to get on another side rant, but I'll just throw this in here really quick. Sometimes you create so many goals to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the cost of getting to there means no nap. The cost of getting to that point is like, but you sell it to me like we could do it all. And I'm like, we've done this enough. We've done this enough that I know from the last 200 times.
I can grow in that area.
We didn't get a nap.
You're right.
And I'm upset we didn't get that nap.
I think partly.
I was set up.
No, part of it is that I'm slightly an overachiever, underachiever type. And I say that by saying I underachieve. I am keen and I know myself. So I am an underachiever when I need to be. But I'm also like, I do anticipate, because again, I think I see it as if I have a clean space, then I can rest better. Whereas if I don't have a clean space, I probably won't get, if I rest, it's going to be uninterrupted because I'm going to wake up and think about,
you say there's mess here. You think about it.
I dream about it. It's a whole process for me.
Yeah.
But
I'm praying for that to be broken.
I appreciate that, but not to be broken so that I love filth.
No, not that way. Not that way. Because I need your ability to walk into a space and organize and clean it. Not because I have the ability to mess,
to
which
walk
I do.
into the space and mess it up.
But I think my son needs to learn from you. No, I'm kidding. But because I desire to be the person who cleans up when I'm done. There's a saying my Uncle Sipo said, and he says, leave a place better than you found it. He probably got it from somewhere else, and I'm sure it's a deep philosophical guy who might have said it, whatever.
Right.
But I heard it from him, and when I heard that, it was like, oh, snap. Like, that's a really awesome place to be in. And so when I was saying I pray for you in that, because I'm like, I don't want your sleep to be connected to something being incomplete. Because then that means that it's easier to target you. I think the enemy strategizes like, what are your things? And so it's like, ooh, this is going to tick her off.
Right.
Cool. Let me make her see this mess.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Back to what
Go ahead. What
God
you were
was
learning.
saying.
Yeah,
so when I was sitting in the corner and I was like bawling about this thing not being done, which was the first time I think I had ever done that. I never had done that before, where I was like literally crying because it wasn't cleaned. But I'm sitting over there and I'm crying and I'm like just having a moment. And I felt the Holy Spirit say to me, look around. And I like began to look around the room. And he said, and I was like, but this place, and I must have been saying like, if this is not clean, it's not clean. And he said to me, he was like, so does that mean I don't have the ability to clean it if it's not clean presently? Like, can I not still clean it? And I was like, yes, you can still clean it, but right now it's not clean. And I was so angry and frustrated that it wasn't clean. And he said, can I not still clean it? And then he began to say, you know, Dominique, look around because this is you. And I'm like, wait a second now. Dang. What are we talking about here? Exactly. And so he was like, you know, and I began to look around and scan the room. He was like, there are unopened things, because there were literally boxes of like gifts that I had not opened yet. And he was saying there are gifts inside of you. There are things that are not yet opened that I have for you to open. there were piles of laundry and like dirty stuff. He was like, there's baggage. We had luggage still out. He's like, there's baggage that you have that you need to unpack. There are dirty things, clothes that are like filthy things of filth that are clogging you up. Like, there are so many things here, and this room looks like you. Just look around.
Woo! Okay, hold up. I've been dying to talk.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
But when he said that, I was just like, that's so deep.
Yeah.
And so then he repeated himself and saying, just because it's not clean doesn't mean I don't have the ability to clean it.
That's good.
I'm going to clean you out this year. And I was like, oh, wow. So
your cry for a filthy space became a cry for, Lord, you are good and your mercy endures.
He changed it around.
Okay.
And that place stayed filthy for like a couple of days because I was just chewing on the fact that like, this is me. So I was like literally walking over the stuff like, wow, this is me here. And God is going to clean these things out of me. So today
and
when I was like,
up the gifts.
Exactly.
There's so much.
So today when I was like excited and joyful, and I'm like, God, why am I joyful? And he was reminding me like, it's because the space is cleaned. And you like a clean space. One of the biggest things, misconceptions of marriage is that you will like the things that I like. You will want to do all the things that make me happy. That's like total lie.
Misconception. It's not a total lie, but it is a misconception.
And not that you don't want to please God by pleasing me. Not that. But what I'm saying is like, sometimes we get married and we're like, oh, he's going to want to help me clean. He's going to want to go into, like, you're going to want to do these things with me. And that's not always true. And so for me, I was like, oh, he likes a clean space. He's going to help me do these things. And I had to have a hard, fast, come to Jesus moment. Like, Dominique, why are you cleaning? You are cleaning because you like a clean space. Yeah. Not because you're trying to impress him or be a good wife or be a good mom or none of those things. You are cleaning because you like a clean space. You don't like filth. You don't like clutter.
Exactly.
So if that is the case, don't exactly. Don't give it.
It's you. It's all you. I have nothing to do with this. My only job is to grow you in that area.
No, shut up. But literally, but my reason I'm saying this is because I like it. A clean space, not the cleaning part, but because I like a clean space, then I'm responsible for my happiness in that area and not pinning that on you and getting upset with you saying, why doesn't he clean this? Why doesn't he do this? He knows I need to, like, then getting this attitude and having this whole talk through with myself, this unnecessary talk through with myself, when it's like, you like a clean space, then clean it. Because if that contributes to your happiness, do those things in which cause you to be blessed long term. When I clean it, if you said it to me, I don't want to fight you. If you said it to me, you're stupid.
Oh, but when God say it, now it's revelation. But when I said it, I'm just a little nigga. I'm just that dude over there.
Unwelcomed feedback. It's criticism, okay?
We gonna talk about that at some point.
We do have to talk about that. But literally, so it's just like, I'm contributing, like I'm blessed to be a blessing, and that blessing that God is going to give me is by way of helping me to, like I'm speaking to him and being cleaned out in the process of talking to him about my desires for cleanliness. Yeah. So it's like, inadvertently, it is leading to godliness. But that ain't biblical. But it is leading to godliness because I am not the action of cleaning, but the process in which I'm having to go through in my cleaning.
Well, I mean, the process is biblical because it's like you heard and listened and submitted to God. And then in that space and in that place, then God is able to clean out the things in you. Right. And so
but through the frustrations, though, because I think part of it is like he's not just a magical being up there who's like, I want to do this.
Let me sprinkle some
puppet.
Goodness and mercy on you.
Exactly. But it's like not without hardship. Like not without grief and trauma sometimes, and not without some of these things.
The experience of life.
Yeah, these experiences of life kind of can. Life, it can leave you bitter. Yeah. That's a good song.
It is.
Jessica.
No, but you're absolutely right about that. Wow, you said a lot of really awesome things in there. Even just taking a second to go back to how you said, "Is it clean right now?" And just because can I not clean this thing? Like there's a way and a space and a way that I want to do this. Matter of fact, pause, look around, see that unopened box. There's gifts in you that you don't even know what they look like built up. We're running out of time. You don't even know what it looks like built up. So God has a plan and purpose for you. We love you guys. We love you guys.
The boy is waking up.
And I'm out.
No, the boy is waking up, y'all. You hear him back there. But, yeah, that literally was our gifts that God is awakening in us and in me in that area. And so that whole situation really led me to it and made me think about that concept. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys that the cleaning story from the cleaning lady, but literally that was important to me, and having that moment to talk to God about my desires for a neat space, and ultimately my desires for him to clean me out, because there are things that I've been struggling with since I became a Christian, and even before that, those moments. And so having time and space to, when he said it, I felt like it was so final. Like, I'm cleaning you out. Like, I'm going to do this thing. And when I do it, those things that you wrestle with are never returning again. And I'm not talking about just, general struggles that I have to die to, but there are some things that, like, I've been praying to God about. And he's like, when I do this thing, I'm going to do this thing and clean it completely out. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm open for that. I'm what the folks say these days. I'm here for it. So, again, thank you guys for joining us for this episode. The baby woke up, so Malobi had to jet off real quick because he's closer to the side where he's at to get him and care for him. Such a good dad he is. Did you want to say anything to the people before we jumped off of here and told them to have a good night?
Nope. You don't have to be clean to chase after God. Let him clean you.
Exactly. You don't have to clean yourself to chase after God. Let him clean you. All right. Obi, you have anything to say? He acting all shy. You have something to say? Okay. All right, y'all. Well, it was good talking to you, and we'll catch you again on the next episode. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Family Business Podcast. My name is Dominique Sampson. I'm not sure what's happening here. But catch y'all on the next episode.